This is the Jon McComb Show podcast. Subscribe now on iTunes. Listen to the show live each weekday morning, 5:30 to 10 on News Talk 980 CKNW and through the Radio Player app.
My next guest has a request. Keven Drews hopes to raise $500,000 in a bid to beat cancer. The Surrey-based journalist has been fighting cancer for 14 years. He's now with the Canadian Press, but he has been working with newspapers around BC and Washington State for a long time now. Now he's working on the story of his own survival. And Keven Drews joins me on the line this morning. Keven, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for taking the time to talk.
Tell me about what the $500,000 is for. It's
for what they call essentially cost of care. So it's those traditional things that a hospital would pick up if I was in Vancouver. You know, everything from tests to meals to things like that. With this clinical trial, you get accepted, and then the drug company, biomed company, covers the actual cost of the treatment, which is about $500,000 US. So you don't pay for that, but you're responsible for raising money to pay for everything down there that you'd pay for up here in a hospital, right? So I've had preliminary talks with people at the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, that's the umbrella organization that operates all these hospitals in Metro Seattle, Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they told me that because I don't have U.S. health insurance, that I'd have to pay by myself, I'd need to raise between $200,000 and $480,000, and then they said that's U.S. And then they said, you know what,
wow.
$480,000, $500,000, that might not be enough because you've got this extensive medical history. What happens if you go into ICU, right? So then you got to start thinking like that. ICU is expensive, right? So we're under the gun here. I mean, I've talked to my specialist. The province, I think, just recently in the last few days, approved someone to participate in a similar treatment for leukemia or lymphoma. But my specialist has had problems trying to get people, the government to pay that kind of stuff. So I've got people working on, what the government may or may not be able to do, and in the meantime, we're just raising money, right? Because the next step now is like paying $1,600 US to go down for a consult, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to come up with $1,600. Right? I don't know too many people can just reach into their pocket or into their bank account and get that, but I'll come up with it. Then you get the appointment and the consult, and then you find out, right? But once you find out, the money's got to be there. They don't do anything until the money's paid.
And so this is a clinical trial.
Yeah.
And for you, is this the last shot?
Well, pretty much. I mean, I've had discussions with my specialist who said, look, the toolbox is getting a little bit empty. I'm on the latest drugs for multiple myeloma, and it hasn't been going well. They can try something to try to boost its effect by adding another drug, but at the same time, I was told, hey, take a look at this clinical trial in Seattle, right? So they don't know obviously what the long-term effects are, but they're developing it for myeloma patients, and that's really, if I don't do it, then I'm probably going to die. Right? Like, let's just be truthful about this. There's not enough stuff left. There's not enough medications left to treat me.
Right.
Right. And I know there's a ton of research going on in the States, and organizations like the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation are funding a whole bunch of these things, but I don't hear anything that's getting close to being released. So this could be my last shot.
Well, I feel for your situation, having going through a bit of a similar situation in my private life. So I certainly feel for what you're saying. You've been fighting cancer for quite a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's 14 years. I was diagnosed actually in April 1st, 2003.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, I was in at VGH for my stem cell transplant. And I've been lucky. I've been hitting those intervals where new research produces new drugs.
Right.
So I've got a ton of extra years that I wouldn't have gotten thanks to these medications. But cancer is a nasty thing. It evolves, it changes, and the drugs lose their efficacy. Right? They lose their power, and cancer just kind of it's like a truck, like a big rig on the highway that ain't stopping.
So has it always been multiple myeloma?
Yeah, it's been multiple myeloma. It's attacked my bones. I used to be like 5'10.5", 5'11". I'm down to 5'7". I lost. I was conscious actually when one of my vertebrae came apart. Like I lost 10 centimeters a night.
Wow.
I've got craters all over my skull from where you get these little things called plasmacytoma. It's when you have the cells that are cancerous. They build up in the marrow, and then they just kind of buckle the bone and break it. They turn it soft and then break it. It snapped my arm. It took out half my right pelvis. It's gone after my ribs. It's got lesions. It's a really nasty. All cancer is nasty. I'm not going to get into that blame game of my cancer is worse than yours.
Yeah.
But it's a really nasty cancer. It hurts. Right?
You're a father of twins. One of your twins is on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Tell me what your family life is like while you're battling cancer, and yet you have still other responsibilities.
It's wow. Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like you're just always under pressure. I mean, it never stops. There's never relief. There's always something to look after. Just before this, I was at a meeting for my son at his school, right? We were meeting with the teachers and support team, and so there's always something, right? He's got support workers coming into the home several times a week, right? Sometimes I forget I got cancer, and I just think about his autism.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the way it is. It's a tremendous amount of stress.
Tell me about your wife, because there's a huge amount of stress on her as well, right?
Yeah, she's got a really good job with the Surrey School District. She's helping with the fetal alcohol program for students. So she's working on that, and we get help around the home from my mom. But she comes home because she's a teacher. She's better in tune with what Tristan needs, so she's worried about that too. And it's just nonstop, right? I'm a really lucky man that she stuck by me, with the amount of stress that we're under. People's marriages fall apart under far less stressful scenarios.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? And I'm not going to get into that stuff, but, it's just because every couple's different. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just lucky that my family hasn't broken apart.
Tell me where people can go to help you out. You need to raise $500,000 for this for the treatment in Seattle. So where can people go to if they want to help you out?
Okay, we've got a GoFundMe page set up, and if you go to Google or any other search engine, go to GoFundMe and then type in "mad at myeloma." So MAD at just written out myeloma, MYELOMA, and then I've got a daily, we've got a daily Facebook blog column page set up, and that's called Mad at Myeloma as well. So
and that's on Facebook?
Yeah, that's on Facebook.
Okay. And
that's open to the public and everything. So, yeah, we're we're doing that, and we plan some stuff with Twitter, but the main pages are those two: the GoFundMe and Facebook page.
Okay. And so GoFundMe is the best place to go to donate?
Yes, please. It feels like awkward to be asking people for money, but if I don't do this, I'm done. Right? Barring a miracle, I'm done. So, yeah.
Whereabouts are you in the fundraising process?
We've had the pages up for just a little bit over 24 hours.
Oh, so you're just getting started.
Yeah, and we're at 9,200 right now.
Okay, awesome.
So, thanks if you donated. We really appreciate it. We're on our way. And I've got a great team of friends who are really behind me on this and pushing things too. There's been some time donated, very valuable time by other people. So I need to acknowledge them.
Wish you the very best of luck, man, and we'll keep in touch with you and keep in touch with this effort to raise that $500,000 for you.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time this morning.
Keven Drews has been fighting multiple myeloma for 14 years, needs $500,000 to go down to Seattle to get some experimental treatment. And boy, when you hear that story, he needs the $500,000 not to get the drug because the drug company will supply it. He needs the $500,000 to take care of the hospital bills that will inevitably accrue under the U.S. healthcare system. Why he can't get it here is a question. But if you are inclined at all to help Keven Drews and his family, the GoFundMe page is Mad at Myeloma, Myeloma, Mad at Myeloma.